Awesome. Okay. Today's topic is I'm answering Lacey's question. I decided to go live. Hopefully I'm actually going live on the right Facebook group. Let me see. I decided to do it via Zoom in case I needed to share. Awesome. Perfect. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Nicole Henry. I'm a money energy expert and business strategist. All that really means is I help people overcome their emotional cycles around money while creating personalized strategies in their business. I don't believe there is a one size fits all for anyone or anything. I don't believe there's a special blueprint that's going to make you wealthy or rich. I think it's really understanding the way that your brain loves to sell and really understanding the way that your market loves to buy. Hold on one second though, because I cannot do this above my head. It's like right above my head and it's driving me nuts. So I thought about this question and like, how do you effectively market? It is a very broad question. You'll see that I very rarely teach a ton of business strategy because I don't believe that everything I'm going to teach you is great for everyone, right? Because everybody is completely different. So we're going to dive in. I'm going to give you the best answer as far as the perspective goes from my business and understanding Lacey, who asked this question, understanding her business. I'm going to kind of answer it the best I can. But know that if you go and try this stuff and it doesn't work, it's because you have to have your own personalized strategy. And it really just depends on the way that your brain processes information and the way that your audience's brain processes information. So, number one is obviously we're going to go back to the basics, right? But we're going to dive a little bit deeper into those basics. You have to know who you're talking to. I see so many people, especially coaches, that are like, I want to help women find joy and find themselves again or love themselves again. We call these joy coaches. I'm like, well, everybody is helping people. Every life coach out there is helping people connect to themselves again, connect to God again, love themselves again. You have to really get deeper than that. You have to know exactly who you're targeting. And I'm not saying that's who you have to say that you help. Like, for example, I say help business owners create personalized strategies in their business. But when I'm writing my content, so business owners is very vague, right? But when I'm writing my actual content, I know exactly who I'm speaking to. And I have different levels of target markets within my funnel. So I actually don't just have one target market, I have multiple, and I have a strategy for each and every level, right? Now, I'm just going to pretend I'm speaking to one level to keep it super, super simple. But for example, I work with people that already are making money, already have a business, feel like they have money coming in, but they don't actually feel successful. They don't actually feel like they are where they want to be. And they also have kind of an ego that they don't want to actually get vulnerable and ask people for help because they kind of have a status and they kind of have followers that look up to them and they don't want anybody to know that they're struggling. Like I know to a T, like that's my target market, right? So that's going to be very different language than if I'm talking to a startup business owner, right? A startup business owner looking to get their first $10,000. That's going to be a whole different target market. And so I'm going to have to use different language. Now, as I speak to these people up here on like my timeline, the information is going to drip down to everybody. So even though I speak to women, I actually work with men. Like I have men clients, I have men that join my groups, but I don't actually target men. But I create enough content that people are like, ooh, I like that. I'm going to create a conversation on the side. And that's the goal, getting people to ask you to buy from them or to sell to them versus having to go and selling to people. And I see so many people just like desperately being like, this is what I have. This is what I have. Here's my product. Here's my service. Here's this. Here's that. And it's like, you're not actually showing people and getting them results for free. So you have to make sure that you are, number one, you know who you're talking to, and you have to make sure you're credible. And how do you get credibility? By showing them results. I know the things that I teach in my low cost trainings and my free trainings on my Facebook Lives can get people results. I know that because people don't actually need information. People pay for personalization. I could give you my entire plan, which I do in my Building Your Destiny and all these different things. Like I give it all away. And what happens is people don't really follow through with it because the issue isn't the information. The issue is they don't know how to apply that information to their personalized business. They don't know how to apply that information when now they have the emotional cycles coming up. I had a client today Voxer me and she said, hey, so like I literally have 3 people that want to buy from me and I don't know what to do. And she knows how to sell like crazy. She's hitting massive months already, and we've only been working together for like a few months. And but because the scenario changed where it's not just she's offering to one person, now she's offering to one person that's buying for multiple people, that created a new insecurity. That created a new trigger, which means now you need a strategy that your brain can accept in the way that you're going to offer to someone. Because if she believes that that person can't afford that, or if she believes that it's too much money, or if she like lets her emotions get into it, she's not going to sell. So even though she's been rocking the strategy we've been doing, this one little trigger threw her energy off, which is why energy and logic go hand in hand. If your energy is off at all, you will not be able to market or sell. People will sense your energy. We've all been there. We've been where we go to like see people's posts and you can totally tell when they're desperate. When I'm like trying to buy something from someone and I just have message, and they're just like throwing all of these different options, I know they're really have their own agenda behind something versus literally just listening to what I'm saying and answering the question, then letting me ask the next question. Your market is going to guide you to what they want and what they want you to give them if you just slow down a little bit, and you know who you're talking to, you have the credibility, they're going to ask the questions and you're going to be able to get them to lead you to actually sell to them. So the next thing I really want you to think about when marketing, and I talked about this in a training I did yesterday, was moving towards, you have to know what people are moving towards, or you have to know what people are moving away from. So it is like my dream to just go in and like train all the car salesmen, right? And it's not their fault. It's like what they're able or not able to do and how they're trained. If the car salesman owners would just train their team on how they individually like to sell, they would do so good. But instead, it's like they're selling everybody in a certain way, right? And they're rushing to you and they're like trying to sell you on all the gadgets and all this and all that. And it's like, maybe that doesn't matter. I remember when we were looking for a truck, this older salesman, I had to watch my language there, this older gentleman, he was like, yeah, like look at the GPS and look at this and look at that. And I'm like, all cars have that nowadays. It's not that big of a deal to me to, that's not what my selling point is, right? If he would have listened to what I really wanted, he would have been able to find me the perfect truck or car that I was looking for, because he was letting me guide the sell. He wasn't guiding the sell. So you have to be very careful, because some people, they're going to be motivated towards buying the luxury, the leather seats, the sunroof, this or that. And someone else might be like, I'm just sick of like my car breaking down. I I just want a reliable thing. I want to get away from this. So you have to really understand, is your market more somebody that's looking to get away from something or move towards something? Because that's going to make a huge difference. I see this a lot in the coaching industry. Everybody motivates, everybody's inspiring people, everybody's like doing the happy talk, right? And I'm like, but you got to relate to people where they're at. And most people are struggling and feeling alone. So if all you're talking about is this happy talk up here, they're not even going to relate to that. And or they're not actually going to get results when they work with you, because you didn't actually guide them through the steps and the process that they need to get the results that they want. Versus, yeah, they may have bought from you, but to just throw them all this information to do and think that they're going to be able to do it isn't going to help them. And they're probably not going to follow through. There's so many coaches that have their clients fall off, and they'll just be like, oh, well, they didn't do the work. They got what I said I was going to give them. And I'm like, because you didn't actually coach them in the way that they needed to be coached. So keep that in mind when you're selling. Even if it's a product, you have to know, say you're selling plants. Okay, is somebody motivated towards what that plant is going to do for them, how it's going to make them feel? Are they trying to get away from something? Or maybe they don't know how to grow plants, so they're gonna, and I'm using plants because that's the person who asked the question. It's like, are they moving away from not being able to grow plants, or are they moving towards wanting to actually buy a bunch of beautiful plants? Because people that are buying plants and people that want to grow plants and have like that emotional connection are completely two different markets. And so as I see you marketing, you're marketing different things that are actually talking to too many different people. So I'm even not very clear on what you're doing anymore, even from the last time that we had spoke, because what you're marketing isn't really who your target market is, if that makes sense. And so sometimes we have to be really careful and reevaluate, you guys. And 2021, it's January. I reevaluate my target market. I reevaluate my marketing plan. I reevaluate my social media plan. I literally just switched over all of my bank stuff. Like, I look at everything that's going right or wrong, and I readjust everything in my business accordingly at the beginning of the year, so that everything is just set in stone. The way I'm paying my team out is different. Like, everything is different because we want to up level every single year, right? And so make sure you're really taking the time to evaluate. I think a lot of times how people think of marketing is, I'm just going to go do a social media post. I'm just going to offer this. I'm just going to do that. They don't actually have a strategy. It's just, I'm going to post and maybe I'll get a lucky sell, or maybe people will buy. And then it's like they sell that and now they're like, now what am I going to offer? What am I going to sell again? They don't actually have all the pieces moving. Like, behind the scenes I'm offering this, in front of the scenes I'm offering this. Okay, now I'm kind of executing this. Okay, now this moves to this in front of the audience, now this moves behind the audience for my pre-sales. Like, everything should be moving and flowing at once. The next thing is I actually have a few things. I'm debating how long you guys want this live to be. I'm going to actually go to my phone to see if anyone's commenting. But it's not letting me see it without opening it, so I'm not going to worry about it. But so the next thing I would say is no vague booking. We all know what vague booking is. When you have that friend that's like, oh my gosh, please like send prayers, I really need help right now, and then like you never hear anything again. That's called vague booking. You don't want to leave people wondering what you do or what you offer, or like what the secret like sauce is. Like, give it all, you guys. Like the people don't owe you anything. You owe them everything. So it's like you give them everything. And then in return, it's like mentality wise, it's kind of like an IOU that if they like you, they're going to be like, wow, I love that. Now I want to work with you because you've given me so much for free and I know you can help me. So really avoid the vague booking or you're going to kill your marketing. You're going to kill your audience. You're just going to kill. If you're not getting engagement, if you're not getting sales, it's probably because people don't actually know what you do or they don't see value in it. Those are literally pretty much the only two things that are going to stop people from actually buying from you. The next thing is actually, I'll kind of leave it here. The last thing is vulnerability. You have to get vulnerable with people. And I'm not like big into like, you have to share your story. You have to tell your story, or like, I don't like going to events where it's just storyteller after storyteller. It's not my thing. But I will say people need to know who you are. And so you do have to share parts of you. You do have to share parts of your stories. You do have to share, some people connect to me through my son's stories. Some people connect to me through my miscarriage story. Some people connect to me through my farm and what's going on my personal life. They'll be like, wow, if she can run a farm, doesn't have a clue what she's doing, she's figuring it out as she's going, while also running a business, while also like having kids, like while also her husband is out of town all week. Like I'm practically a single mom doing it all. And so it's like people are like, if she can do it, I can do it. And so I want you to really dive in and ask yourself, are you actually being vulnerable? Because here's what I will tell you. A lot of people are marketing the thing they want to market and teach. They're not actually marketing the thing they've been through. And this is where I believe in business karma. For example, when I healed my son's gut and I had a gut health coaching business, I would be lying if I was like, you have to take Juice Plus because I sell and take Juice Plus. And like, you have to take it, like, this is what helped my son, blah, blah, blah. That would be a complete and total lie because that is not how the journey went for us at all. So if I was to, I'm just going to screen share this. If I was to look at my journey, okay, I got sick. Obviously, when I was pregnant, I was super sick because I didn't know until hindsight 2020. I had horrible gut health then. All I did was crave carbs and sugars. And like, I don't think pregnancy cravings are like a thing. I think it's a like where your health is at thing, like what you really need. So like my pregnancy was jacked, right? And then it's like, so pregnancy, actually, I'm just going to talk. Then I don't have to waste time typing. My pregnancy was jacked. Awesome. Then I had my son. He was fine for the first 4 weeks because the gut isn't established until the first 4 weeks. Then after that, he started to get colicky and refluxy. Oh my gosh, what do you know? Let's put him on acid reflux medication, which creates secondary acid. Works for a minute, but now he gets even worse. His gut is even more destroyed. Now what happens is we start introducing foods. Then he starts getting eczema and does fine for a while, but then I was like, ooh, something's not right. So I backed off. So then when I started introducing foods to him again, that's when he started having his health issues, vomit to shock, blah, 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 almost died, all these things. This is like my story. Then my story goes into the whole financial money energy thing, which is a whole nother story for another time, but we have these different stages in our life, right? Juice Plus didn't even come into my life till probably clear down here. And it was because I was so sick of living such a rigid diet, like no corn, no soy, no sugar, no like grains, no nothing for 3 years straight, zero cheats. So I was like, I need something to kind of bridge that gap. So if I was worried about selling Juice Plus, what I would do is I would market to people that have been healthy and they're sick of living a rigid diet and they want to be able to have a little bit of cheats without it thrashing their gut, right? That's who I would market to. If I'm to tell people that like they have to do this to be able to get this, that's a lie. when people sit and share their like pictures of like, look at so and so, they lost weight and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no one gives a rat. It's not you. You're not sharing your story. You're sharing someone else's story that half the time your team just has on a back page that they're just sharing. And then what happens is you're actually sharing a false journey that you actually haven't experienced, or you're telling people that they have to actually take this to get this result, which might not actually be your journey. And so then people wonder why in like network marketing they don't get results. It's because they're sharing what people are telling them to share. They're not actually sharing their own content. They're sharing like different memes and posts of other people and things that the company has created, and I'm like, nobody relates to that. Like, I don't have to publicly share that I sell Juice Plus. Like, I just don't have to. As people know my journey with gut health, people are going to relate to that story because I can tell you, working with kids that have had gut health issues, autoimmune or food allergies, they have all had that same pattern. They had reflux, then they had eczema, then they had behavioral problems. They had mucousy yellow or green poop. Like, I could tell you everything because I've lived that journey, and then I marketed to the same people that have been through what I've been through. And what do you know? They've been through the same thing I've been through. So it's the same story over and over. Same with like network marketers. They have the same story over and over and over. Same with coaches. They have the same story over and over and over. Like, as far as like what's failing in their marketing, you know, typically they go out there, they think they need the brand and the website and all this stuff. They go invest all this money and they're like, well, crap, I'm not making money. I thought all this fancy stuff would make me money. And it's like, no, you got to focus on the money first to pay for all the other stuff. And you have to know your market to know what you need your brand to do to attract your market. But if you've never actually worked with your market, and I mean like people pay you, you don't actually know what your brand should be because it might change. I used to actually target moms. I had this group was actually called Moms Independently United, and then I quickly learned that was not my target market. So then I had to switch because the people that were actually paying me were people that either wanted to start businesses or they were already super successful, but they didn't feel successful. So hopefully that was beneficial for you. I'm going to see if I have any questions. Let me it's really hard to tell when I'm on Zoom, but I don't think I have any questions. But if you guys are not registered for the 2-day money energy workshop, please register. We're getting down to the wire. It's going to be online 9 to 5, and we're actually going to create marketing strategies for your personalized business. We're going to create a social media plan for your personal business. We're going to go into where do you invest your money? What do you do with your money? We're going to go into relationships and money. We're going to go into so many different topics: sales, marketing, social media, investing, mindset. We have expert panelists coming to do a Q&A. And with those 2 tickets, if you can get those free if you sign up for Finance Your Destiny. So literally till the end of January, you can get Finance Your Destiny and 2 money energy workshop tickets for $297 until they sell out. So that's unheard of. Finance Your Destiny is $597. The money energy workshop per ticket is $197. So you're literally getting so much stuff for free. So I hope to see you there. I love you guys. If you have any other questions or comments, please post and engage in the Facebook group Expand Your Destiny. The more you post, the more I show up. So I love you guys. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. After I figure out